Here we go. Quest 2, Level 1, The Power of Story. Story. Sorry, I really thought that would be more dramatic than it was. But we can't talk about narrative. We can't talk about story without asking the question, why? Why do people tell stories? Why is storytelling such an important art form in many traditional cultures? Why, even in our 21st century American non-traditional culture, does Facebook have a Your Story? And are there Snap Stories? And all of those sorts. I mean, like, everybody wants to know your story. Why are narratives so powerful? And so we're going to start with a few TED Talks. Some of it's going to be a little repetitive, but these are really going to get into the idea of how narrative affects your brain. When you hear a story, what is going on in your brain that makes story so powerful for so many people in so many different ways? After the TED Talks, we are reading 3 short narratives. And when I say short, I really do mean short. One of them is called The Zebra Storyteller. It's about a zebra who tells story. Well, okay, The Zebra Storyteller is more about a Siamese cat. The Zebra Storyteller meets him. You'll get there. The next story is called An Appointment in Samara. Doesn't matter if you've never heard of Samara. It's a place in Northern Africa. But it features the character of Death. Very short. And then there's another short story by a contemporary writer named Jamaica Kincaid. The story is called Girl. And it's 98% of the story is a mother, presumably a mother, it's not entirely clear, talking to her daughter and sort of telling her daughter some things. And then at the end of the level, there's just a really short little memoir or anecdote. You're going to look back on a memory from your life, one of the earliest memories you have of storytelling. Maybe it's you and your friends sitting around making up stories. Maybe it's somebody older in your family, a grandparent, a great-grandparent, an uncle, an aunt, telling you stories about your family or your family history, whatever. Write about your earliest memories of storytelling and why that memory has stuck with you. Let's take a quick look at the rubric. We start with a literature standard, which basically means that you're getting the main idea of the stories and you are able to cite some evidence that you understand the main idea of the stories. Then we're also going to get into the narrative standard, the writing narrative standard. So your memoir at the end of the level should tell an engaging story about your first memories of storytelling, and you should try to connect that memory with something that you learned in one of the TED Talks. And I'm not looking for, this isn't a research paper where you're going to quote all of the scientific information from all 3 TED Talks. What I'm looking for is, oh, you know what? One of these speakers said this thing, and that reminds me of this part of my story. The media literacy standard, really just kind of like with the literature standard earlier, you understood the main ideas and you're able to find some evidence in those TED Talks of what the main idea of those talks were. There's also a vocabulary standard, which is about diction. And now I didn't mention this going over some of this stuff in the levels, but we are going to take a slight detour through diction. What is diction? And can you tell the difference between different kinds of diction based on, looking for some actual words and some actual evidence in order to support that. So this should be a really simple level for you. I hope a couple, 3 days, maybe at the most. And if you need help with it, always, you can ask for help. All right. Good luck.